Hello, dear Overloader. This is Dazed Confused, and today we're going to be talking with Joseph Langton and Stacey String from the Valhounds. Where is this name coming from? Where did they meet? How about the new album? Where is it coming out? We got everything and more. Don't forget to like and subscribe to know everything about the Valhounds and all the other bands in the Toronto music scene. But today, let's just rock! Okay, Overloaders, this is the Valhounds. They're here. They're finally here. We've been waiting for them.
They brought champagne.
This is the ultimate rock band from Toronto. This is something that we saw last year. I was so excited to meet them. I actually came to them to say, like, I love your music, man.
That's
You're
right.
amazing.
That's right, I remember.
And finally, I get a chance to talk to them. This is amazing. I'm very excited about this. So welcome to
Thank
our
you
show.
so much.
Thanks
We are totally excited to be here at the same. Thank you for the very gracious introduction. But such a great time to meet both of you guys here again. Being within the Toronto music scene, both Stacey and myself, Joseph, we've seen the ebbs and flows and what you guys are doing to really shed light and give a little bit of a video voice or a little opportunity for people within the city. I fucking love it. I can swear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, course. I fucking love it. I think you're doing a great job. I was like, wait, you gotta cut it up. No, we're doing. But thank you very much for having us here. We were fucking pumped.
Yeah, me too, man. We were excited. We were excited once as soon as Fernando sent me the link. I was like, oh, thank God they say yes. We're gonna start questions. So we've been researching, but I have a lot of questions. But why don't we just start like how you guys got started and how did Valhounds come about, and then we can go from there.
Absolutely,
So,
the beginnings. The beginnings. We actually kind of briefly talked about it today on our way in because we anticipated the question. But Stacey and myself have a pretty storied Toronto music scene history. Not only from where it started, but to how it got up to here. So, I mean, I was having a laugh today because I first saw Stacey play probably in the year 2000.
20 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know. It all gets a little hazy, but I went out to a venue out in Hamilton, Casbah, and I got to the venue early because we got here early. I like to be early. If you're not early, you're late. So I got to the venue early, but the doors weren't open yet. So the promoter came out and let me in, thinking I was playing with Stacey. I guess I had the right look. I guess I don't know. I was carrying myself. I was carrying myself well. So now that I got into the venue and I realized, well, there's nobody fucking here.
Yeah.
And bar's still getting set up, and they're like, hey, well, here, have a drink while you wait for the other guys. And then I put it together, like, oh, they think I'm playing tonight. When, in fact, I was just there to be entertained. So when Stacey arrived, and once again, probably around 20 years ago, so it didn't look like I was out of place, I started lifting gear with him. So like, fuck, I'll just be a roadie. Right?
I remember him like lifting the amp, and I was looking across from him, and it was like, this guy kind of looks like me. Younger and a little better looking.
I don't. 20 years ago, I was probably with like just got a fake ID and gonna go and see rock and roll.
But did you know him?
No, I didn't know him at all.
So you just wanted to go?
Wanted to see the band.
Like,
Yeah, wanted to see the band, absolutely. So therefore, seeing him there, pretending that I was there to help him, but also trying to kind of keep dodging the bar staff, so it looked like I was supposed to be there because I didn't pay cover.
And you were drinking our beer riders.
I was drinking.
And I know I would have been pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
Drinking my beer.
At 1 o'clock when they weren't giving us any more beer because we drank it all.
It was probably because of me.
The imposter.
So it definitely started there, and then as years go on, I was playing within another Toronto group, kind of like an electro pop funk group. It was called Fritz Helder and the Phantoms.
Okay.
We had some great successes, but during that time, Stacey and I would often cross paths at the rock and roll venues. We would often cross paths just because of similar interests or similar bands we're going to see, and we always kind of had that little head nod.
Head nod? What's up?
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, there's that guy again.
So you guys didn't like exchange contact information at this point?
No, I was intimidated by him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He seemed like such a nice guy.
I was a real asshole then.
But the thing being, like, it's almost like, and I mean, maybe I'm not trying to toot your horn here, but like when I saw him, I was like, oh, so you can you can have like you can look good, play guitar, and have long black hair, and like be fucking rock and roll. So I definitely looked up to you. Not to make it fucking mushy.
Not in front of all these.
Not in front of the camera.
We're always up for a little bit of bromance.
Yeah.
So definitely that all the time.
Well, and then the bromance thing, and that's how it ended because
That's how it ended.
I mean, that's how it ended up of how we ended up doing this.
Oh, okay.
That's how it ended
I
up
didn't know I
getting
had
ahead.
to. So we're at a local watering hole, which is at Bloor and Bathurst, which is actually just closed down. A place called Amnesia, which is kind of.
I know that place. Yeah.
It's very fitting for an end of the night kind of a bar. And I was playing pool there with like another one of my friends, and this was after one of the bands I was playing. I think I just finished playing with a band called Die Mannequin, which is kind of a punk metal band. Looking for something else to do, and this joker is playing pool at the back of the bar there, and we're like, hey, we want to play for the table or whatever.
Yeah, you said, we got next. I said, oh, you got to beat me first. So it's right away we saw,
So it's kind of near the end of the night, and I'm like, this guy kind of looks cool. It's like, do you sing? And,
nice.
He's like, yeah. And I'm like, you sure? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, all right. So he started pumping money into the jukebox, like, sing to this. And he's singing away. And I'm like, yeah, this guy can sing. So
it was a live Amnesia audition.
Yeah.
So why did you ask him if he could sing or not play the guitar?
Because he looked like he could sing.
I
can play guitar.
Why not? Like, why?
You look too good to be a singer.
I think I had a drummer. The guy I was with was another guitar player, and we had a bass player maybe too, and needed a singer, and he just looked like a singer. So
nice.
I don't even think he really thought he was a singer, but he's like, yeah, I can sing, and then put money in the jukebox.
Nice.
A little liquid confidence always helped in an at bar audition.
It's kind of semi-casual audition.
And the song selection was quite varied too.
What was it? If you just like
we went with The Cult and with Lana Del Rey, I think.
Lana Del Rey.
Lana Del Rey.
You sang Lana Del Rey. That's crazy.
Quite well too.
Wow.
I believe it.
Almost as sexy.
Almost. But
The Cult and Lana Del Rey.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
That's kind of where things started, and I think we rehearsed 2 days after for the first time. I think so.
Was that the first night you guys exchanged contact?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think somewhere too, we were talking about cover songs to get going on, and I think I have a receipt or something with our chicken scratch. That's half the things are probably spelled wrong, but I was always trying to make it like, okay, Alice Cooper, okay, we can do that, or we can do. But we had written down a potential rehearsal set list just for an actual audition when it's all plugged in and ready to go. Found that in your pocket the next morning. I'm like, oh, I got some work to do.
And I think I do remember after, like that must have been a Saturday night, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And maybe we got together on Tuesday,
Yeah,
or Monday
yeah.
or Tuesday. And I remember those days in between going, what are the chances this is going to work? No, it's not going to happen.
It's not gonna happen.
Like in my experience, a lot of the times when you're meeting people, and
Like late at night.
Oh, yeah.
Not
You're
even.
looking for-
It almost seems like the better that somebody looks and talks, the less talent that they actually have. And that just seemed to be kind of the way it was. So.
Not in this case, right?
You never told me that.
And as soon as I started like singing and stuff like that, I'm like, this actually sounded good, right? And looking around at the other guys, I'm like, he's good, right?
And I guess there's a bit of a thing when you do bring in somebody to a potential musical group. My talent was kind of weighing on your shoulders. Like if I fucking did suck, they're gonna look at you and say, well, we're not gonna let Stacey pick the next guy or something like that. So I mean, but I wanted to impress.
Yeah,
as it goes. It was fucking fun. It
Sounds like a great story.
Yeah.
Great. That's awesome. What's the dynamics on the type of bands, on the type of in the type of personalities that you all have? I mean, you together, it seems to be that you connect very good with each other.
Yeah.
But how about with other people, with the other musicians?
How was it like when you came in? Like,
When I came in, everything wasn't necessarily ironed out just yet, and we even did have a big switch up right before our first show. Which is kind of funny as we've writing original material.
Yeah.
We love Cherry Colas, and they invited us out for a debut set.
That was 2016.
Yeah, 2016. It was the
not too long ago.
Not too long ago.
Yeah, it was the we were trying to work it as like the after party for the Guns N' Roses that was going on, right? So he's like, oh, July 16th.
Yeah.
That's
we
correct.
went out old school. We printed off our own flyers. We went out to hand them out even that day because you gotta work. You gotta hit the pavement. It's not just digital. Okay, so you gotta make the connection. So we were able to go out there, but just prior to that show, our drummer broke his hand. Dun dun dun. So
was it an accident or?
it was a self-inflicted
violent sexual act, or
self-inflicted accident, which was terribly frustrating. But this has happened often
I've
enough.
never understood like why people punch a wall. Like it seems like such a high school thing to do. You go to a party and the party's over when all of a sudden the drywall feel like the guy jocks start beating up the drywall.
That's
right?
actually what happened.
Oh, it happens all the time.
So let me ask you, is that the same drummer that you still have right now?
No. So the original drummer never did the first show or any other shows after that.
Wow.
We had a week and a day before our first show, and I remember this has happened a couple times. You've looked at me and you said, "Can we still do it?" I'm like, "Of course we can still do it. We're gonna figure out a way, right?" We've run into these challenges too much, it seems, but so can we still do it? We were so fortunate enough to get in contact with Jay from the Manvilles, who still is playing with us up to today, off and on, because he has the Manvilles are a fantastic Toronto and Vancouver based band. I fucking love them. They actually had a new album that came out recently as well too.
Okay.
Broken Arrow. If I'm saying that, I hope that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And we've had other drummers since, but it's like as long as Jay's still available, we can't find better than Jay. So
No, you can't
Jay's
find-
our drummer.
Can't
So
find
for
better.
that show, like,
We
did
grabbed-
you guys had Jay for that?
Yeah, we had him for that show.
And that was the first show?
It was the very first one.
Oh, wow.
Till this day, Jay's still the
And he's
drummer.
a
And
rock.
we've had a couple of guys since then.
In between, yeah.
and it's like, and they just like something ends up happening. I don't want to throw anybody's
No,
name under the
life
bus or
happens.
anything like that.
Life happens.
But they can't listen to a metronome if they don't have money in the bank account.
There's something, yeah. It's
They
just
got their
like,
girlfriend pregnant. So they can't play drums anymore, whatever. So Jay's always just been there for us, and it's like,
Okay.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I actually want to ask. This is kind of segue to the next question I wanted to ask. So, what was it about Jay that was kind of aligned with you guys so well?
He's probably the first drummer I've ever played with where we've got like the song and he's more musical in mind.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're just like most drummers will just play a beat and it's like kind of carrying the song along, but Jay is like accenting in these other parts and dynamically he's really good. Yeah, he's very musical.
So he was contributing more than just being a.
Instead of just bashing cymbals like most drummers do,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
guy's like, okay, no, he gets
he's locked in. He loves it. He listens to not the bass. He listens to the vocal melodies and pattern. He'll play off of what I do live. Even he'll understand and be familiar with it. And he's a monster player. Really
Understanding all the dynamics and everything
Yeah.
that's happening.
We've written
Absolutely,
songs
right.
before where maybe the intro goes on like 16 bars and Jay's like, no, cut that down to 8. And I'm like, really? It's such a cool guitar riff. And then I listen to it back, it's like, ah,
Yeah,
right.
Was there any because there are a lot of other bands that we talked to. They're like, yeah, like when somebody just come in and just contribute too much. You're like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because it's so because it's kind of very emotional. Like when you write a song, right? And then you're like, and then it's like, at what point do you say, no, I'm not doing that? Like no, this is how it's gonna be.
I'm pretty open-minded about it. If
Yeah.
somebody else has like an opinion or says, I think we should do this, I'm like, fine, let's do it. Because,
Yeah.
as a songwriter, you can be sort of self-conscious about things. But if somebody else is like, well, I like this idea, even if it's just
A little
something they
out
threw
there.
off the top of
Sound
their
right,
head,
yeah.
fine, let's go with that.
Let's
You know,
go with
I
it.
love that
See
kind
where
of
it
thing.
takes
At
us.
least try it first.
Yeah, try to see where it takes us, add to it, because if you have multiple minds working towards the same goal within the song,
Yeah.
you're going to add in those dynamics. That
Exactly.
you're going to have strength. And writing along with Stacy, I feel like the luckiest son of a bitch in the world because he also writes with myself singing in mind. So we're working with specific
Nice.
keys
Yeah.
or working with certain other changes that we know we're like, oh, that's gonna really hit.
That takes time too. When you're not just like a singer-songwriter, I don't write lyrics. I'm not the lead singer by any means. So it's like for 4 years, like the first year is like, okay, let's do this in E. Oh, okay, no, we should actually tune to E flat. Is a better thing.
Yeah.
And then songs and so, okay, G is actually the best thing that he sings in. So you do kind of writes more songs in those kind of keys to cater to his voice, you know.
Just cater to me. He just caters to me. It's fantastic.
I'm a caterer.
He's a caterer. They're taking care of me always.
That makes sense.
Because
Stacey, we did our whole research and we found out about the Grateful Head and the Sugar Mac Studio. Can you tell us more about it?
Right. Greatful Head is a hair salon that I've been involved with for 15 years now.
Okay.
We just had our 15-year anniversary, and it was like I've been cutting hair and doing style and I'm a beauty expert. So
that's awesome.
He makes me look good.
It's always been it's always been a good job for if I've ever needed time off to go on the road with bands, I've been able to do that. So that's always been good. And I met a person at a previous job called Lisa Fina, who wanted to start her own hair salon, and I'm like, we were at a kind of a dead end job, and where checks were bouncing and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is a ship going down, and like the rat I am, I'm like ready to jump off the ship. And she's like, I want to open up my own hair salon, and I want you to come with me. I'm like, yeah, okay. Do you have a name for it? And she's like, yeah, I was thinking the Grateful Head. And I'm like,
that's an amazing name.
Like, yeah, that's pretty good.
How is that connected? Is that connected anyway to the band? Like because you guys.
She loves the Grateful.
She loves it.
She loves the Grateful Dead, right? So it's like that obvious joke, but and so we just shortened the name to Grateful Head because I thought that sounded more like more people than just one.
That's like a
than just
setup to like so many dirty jokes though. The Grateful Head.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure you guys have a blast, right?
we've got buttons saying great head on them and stuff like that. So
you guys actually have a button?
Oh yeah. Should have brought some for you. So.
Oh yeah, that's
awesome. And then so we've had like 3 different locations, and then the last location up on Dundas Street had room for a basement studio that she's always wanted to do. We had one at the very first one, but it was more of a practice spot. But this one had enough room to actually do a basement studio.
Is she a musician as well?
She is. She's a singer-songwriter. She's got a couple of records out that are really good. Yeah, yeah, she's great. So that lended itself into just bringing everything together.
Now we spend all our time there.
Expertise in the rock and roll studio in the basement too. So
yeah,
nice.
Did you guys record a lot of songs there?
Quite a few.
Yeah, not only for ourselves, but Stacey has been working with a lot of up and coming singer-songwriters, other Toronto groups at the same times, and that's where we do have that chance to kind of work alongside and give. I'm speaking for you again, but it gives opportunities for people that I wish I had when I was going through the initial.
Awesome.
And
we need more of that in Toronto.
Giving that back, like you have to refuel, you have to re-grease the wheel to keep things moving, especially within a rock and roll field. I mean, we're not limited to rock and roll. You worked with a lot of different styles.
Yeah, just this year, I think we've had like 4 different bands, I think, and artists in. A band called the Detours, which are doing really, really well in Toronto. Look out for them. A girl named Kirsten Corbett, who's recorded a 4-song EP there, as I said, on Spotify and stuff like that now. Maya Gomez is doing really well, and us. So yeah, we keep busy.
What's the selection process like? How do you
bring it on?
Just like whatever songs good, or
if their songs are good, I like the people. It's pretty chilled out and stuff, and
Yeah, if anyone's out there listening, get in touch. Get in touch with the Valhounds. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what you got. We would love a chance to continually work and once again refuel and energize this city back to where it belongs.
Yeah, we talked about that. Well, I mean, like not the last one, the one before that. Apparently, there's a lot of hip hop artists that do that. But not as much as I wasn't sure. You guys probably know more than me about this.
I hope.
But the rock and roll artists, they don't do it as much as the hip hop artists. They go back once you get to a certain stage. They're like, we're gonna go back and try to pull someone up. Like
absolutely, you have to keep feeding the machine. And the machine that we love so much is rock and roll. But once again, we're not limited to that. But just music creation in general and in specific, you want to continually fuel the fire. And right now, especially, I mean, I've had a feeling that it's kind of exciting, but like rock and roll is kind of the underground. Just from what I see, came back to an underground, which at a moment everybody can say, wow, Toronto, nothing's happening. No, but usually when something is in the underground, that means you're right on the cusp of something really fucking great happening. You know, and so to get back into the character of Toronto, the music scene, or live performance music, I should just say in general, making sure it's live, holding on to that energy, holding on to that electricity where you're really close to the wire when you go out on a night and you're like, anything could happen.
Oh man, I'm getting excited just listening to
you. That's what it's about. But that type of excitement, when you would go to the venue and you're not sure, you know, and even if you don't know the band, if you don't, go check it out. Because I mean, there's very little heart pumping excitement you can get from holding that phone and fucking swiping. Yeah. And they're like, well, I saw 7 seconds of a live performance. There's nothing there. But when you're in the moment, and I know that's limiting now, but it's not going to be forever. So when you're in that moment, and when you've put yourself into it, and you are giving, and they are giving, and it's a shared kind of experience. Yeah.
We got out to Hamilton quite a lot last year, which was like a good rock and roll town.
Why is that? Like, why do you think that's the case? Like, not Toronto, but Hamilton.
They
work hard.
Party hard. It's always it's had the history.
But there are people hardworking people in Toronto as well, right?
Hamilton brings you in with a really strong arm and a big bicep, and they pull you close.
And
they pull you close, and they want to talk to you. They want to have that interaction. I feel that we, being in the metropolitan, maybe at times we get a little isolated because we're going from point A to point B, and we stop to kind of bring that in. We don't stop enough, I say, to bring that in and have a shared understanding of our experience, or just the balls to get to know something that's going on and really push for that. Yeah.
Joseph, Stacey, connecting those ideas, the Greatful Dead, 1965, with the Toronto music scene right now, what's the big difference between, 65 years of difference? How would you describe the difference? What they did versus what is happening today? Like, so many things are there.
Technology, climbing trees. we talked about this.
Wait, did you say climbing trees?
Climbing trees.
Elaborate.
Oh, I'm getting there. Climbing trees. We talked about this, and I was trying to put a through line together. Maybe because I was underslept. Maybe it's just because we were spending hours in the bunker together, hours in the studio. But we always said, hey, you don't see kids climbing any trees anymore.
Well, we should sort of preface this with it's like we do play sports.
And
so we're playing baseball mostly under a tree because it's so hot, and the tree we particularly play under has got a lot of leaves and stuff like that. So
tossing the old apple back and forth.
And we're looking at this tree. I'm like, that would be fun to climb. Like I used to climb trees when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And,
actually, think about it. I did climb trees too.
But you never ever see anybody climbing trees anymore, right?
So that's what I'm pulling back around within the music sense.
Yeah.
It's almost like the organic nature. I know this is a little far-fetched. I'm going to tie it in. The organic nature and the danger element of putting yourself out there, putting yourself and climbing these trees is kind of similar to the fact that within a music-inspired sense, you have to kind of allow yourself organically within that to experiment, to hurt yourself and not be perfect. Digital technology that has adapted, we love it, we use it all the time, we use it within music, we use it within our life, that's great. But it does limit that falling out of a tree. It limits that kind of feeling of, I may hurt myself when I'm doing this. Yeah,
taking the risk.
Yeah, taking that little risk and pushing
faith.
for it because it can delete it. You can redo. I don't know.
I absolutely agree with you, man. I would like your opinion. How do we foster that kind of that mentality? Like, how do we? Because you're right. People are not doing that anymore. Yeah. So what do you think we should do more to foster that?
Go climb a tree.
People gotta get
a tree. All right, everyone listening to this, climb a tree.
Nobody gets punched in the face anymore. No, what is it?
Climb a tree, fall out, and
skin your knees. But skin your knees in the things that you do in your life, not necessarily literal. Yeah. Put yourself in a situation where your toes are almost touched. Like if you walk out into the water, your toes are almost touching the sand. You're just kind of right there. That's where you want to be. You want to be pushing yourself to that. You're like, this feels uneasy, but it's fucking exciting.
I think kind of what it went back to, when the drummer punched the wall 3 weeks before our first show, which we had really brought up in our mind, like, oh, this has got to be perfect. This is going to be our first show and everything. It's like, no. This is rock and roll.
Yeah.
It needs to be loud. It needs to be cool. And,
Yeah.
let's just get out there and
Pull it
play.
together.
As long as we're all playing the same song and we all, start at the same time and end at the same time.
Yeah.
That's close enough.
And write music, not for what somebody else is going to feel about it. Write music that you want to hear. If you're creating for a sense of, I hope this one lands with a whole bunch of people and this is a really big single for other people's ears. Okay, cool. But if you're writing music that you're excited about, that you want to hear, that in itself is starting that machine up.
That's actually solving the problem, right? If you're writing songs because you don't like the songs that are out there, you're solving that problem.
You're solving that problem right at the beginning.
You're bringing a new thing.
And then get out there and get it live. And go see shows. Because not only are you supporting that and nurturing that growth of everybody, but you're getting inspired by that. And anytime that you see a band that, for myself, that I see plays better than I and is tighter and writes better hooks, I'm like, I don't get jealous. I get inspired. It's like, that's fucking great. I want to get back and start to really work on what we're doing here to really put yourself up to the next level. So, long-winded answer back to what you were saying. What's the big difference within those years? I think we're not far off, and I do have hope. Can't give up hope. We do have hope for what's next because take the risk on it.
So you think less and less people are taking risks these days?
I think I would say less and less people are putting themselves in an uncomfortable position.
Just let me get your opinion on this. Why do you think that is?
Because we're very self-conscious. I guess within how we are viewed, how many fucking likes, we're very self-conscious, and that dopamine hit that we get when that's what I should be doing because I'm receiving more acceptance. It's like cool, or kind of flip the bird to a certain setup and work your own magic and get those other people that are living out in Thunder Bay and say, I really connect with that. It doesn't matter about where you are because we have this technology that can bring it together. The people are there, the people are out there. Now, I say about the technology, I'm really not even good at the technology. Maybe that's why I'm so kind of against it.
I was telling Fernando when I was doing research for you guys, I'm like, fuck, these guys are amazing. How come I haven't heard them and then you guys don't do too much online marketing or none of that stuff.
We should.
Not tons, no.
You should.
If anyone's any students, anyone out there, once again, get in touch with us.
These guys are amazing.
This is a sales pitch.
It's sort of something we think about, but then we'll be in rehearsal and we're getting together and we're just joking and laughing, working on new ideas, and then the whole thing goes by. It's like, oh man, Dave looked good tonight.
Yeah,
we could have gotten a nice shot of him.
Yeah, those little things. It just doesn't come to our. It should. It should for us to take to the next level.
A lot of people would love your music, like I did, and then I was just like, man, I wish I heard them before.
But part of me also kind of likes bands where you cannot find everything about.
It's just like a hidden gem.
Part of me likes that mystery where it's true. You don't see everything. It's like you could spend 2 days sort of like really ODing on a band that you really like and get bored of it kind of fast.
We're walking the edge of a blade.
Nice.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Man, all those riffs, I think that you have the looks, you have the style, you have the music. Your songs are amazingly well done.
Thank you.
I love the riffs.
This guy.
Okay, I love your riffs. No, we're gonna go back to your stage presence because that's my next question. But first of all, the sound that you're bringing to the stage, it's very unique. It sounds classic, but at the same time sounds very risk taker, which I love. Right? Yeah. I see that you're playing. You have an immense love with Gibsons. I see that you're playing with a Les Paul, with an SG. Even today, I think you brought a J45. I'm very sure that you did. I see that love.
Is that what I brought?
I'm totally with you. I'm also with Gibson 100%. I don't enjoy other sound, but I see Like, tell us more about what's the love with the Gibson sound. What is it?
I don't know. It's the most expensive out of all the guitars.
I like it.
It was just so unattainable. Like,
That's what I tell my friends. I need to find a
I gotta do more haircuts.
I have an expensive taste.
I use the same strategy when I go to strip clubs. You know, who's charging most for the lap?
To be honest, like, I mean, I think Kiss was probably my favorite band when I was growing up, and seeing on the back covers saying how they were endorsed by Gibson and Pearl drums because they use the best. So I mean, that was obviously ingrained in me from a young age. But no, I mean, I really just like the sound of them.
What was your first guitar?
First guitar? Like a toy kind of thing from a Sears kind of catalog for Christmas, I remember.
Okay.
But the first real electric guitar was like a Hondo Flying V, and I was like a small kid. Like the guitar was, I think, almost as tall as me.
Did you do the stretching legs and like play it, or like what? How was it? Tell me about how.
I honestly was not that much of like a look in the mirror bedroom player. I actually wanted to learn how to play the guitar.
Yeah.
Like
so you were actually much more mature than a lot of people at that age.
I wouldn't say that, but I just wanted to like learn how to play it. I wasn't just posing in front of like the mirror.
Okay. It's like I want to look like Slash, you know, to start playing guitar.
Yeah, not as much. I wanted to be like, you know, on a stage like Slash, obviously, but I didn't. I wasn't just trying to pull those moves off, obviously.
Nice. Coming back to the stage presence, I think that you're amazing, Joseph, playing on stage. Man. You move, you dance. We don't have any more dancers on stage, and I love that. When I saw you, I was like, this guy knows Scott Weiland.
Cool.
That reminded me a lot. How you move, how you dance, how you feel the music. Wow. I mean, you started with a suit and then you ended up only with a shirt. Like,
it gets warm up there.
Yeah. You were actually enjoying it, and I love that. Tell us more about where did that came from. You were telling me that your family's artists, all of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that where it's coming from?
It's a very good question, and thank you for asking. As far as like stage performance. Rock and roll has that rhythm. Rock and roll has that hip shake, how that knee bounce, that sex appeal to it all.
Totally.
And if it really, I've always had kind of enveloped that within listening or when going out to see live shows or being so fortunate to be able to be on stage playing original material. But to feel it, to embody it, like I even loved great guys like fucking Joe Cocker, it's almost like the entire song moved through him just to get out his voice and stuff like that. So having that open ear, I really hope it's not doesn't come off as like prancing around, but it's almost it can be added to.
When I saw the YouTube videos and the live shows, I think Baby G, you guys.
Oh yeah, it was
did the live show. I was like, that's how a frontman should be.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very cool.
Like you don't see frontmen like that anymore. What was it like something you studied, Joseph, or comes like internally from you? Like what? I'm just curious to know, man.
I did do a bit of musical theater, and I think I did my first dance classes only for 1 year when I was like 18. So that's that's pretty funny when you're buying your first pair of ballet slippers at 18, and you're going into the store, and the moms are there with their daughters, and they're going through class. I'm like, can I get a size? And they're like, sorry, you need to speak up, sir. I'm like, they're for me. They're for me, they're not for me. So I did.
You wore tights?
I wore tight track pants.
Thank you for the image.
Oh no, there's lots.
I thought he was going to admit it. Hell yeah, I wore tights.
There's lots of tights in my background as far as the electro side of things. But yeah, so the year of dance doing tap, jazz, and ballet and like theater-esque stuff. But I don't actually use that kind of choreography or anything like that when we're going into on stage. It's really the guys that are up on stage with me, and this is when I was just doing lead vocals. Now I'm actually doing lead vocals and rhythm guitars, which is a little bit more limiting. Mm-hmm. But you're still getting a chance to move around. We are feeding off each other. True. This is what we love to do. I have a great time doing it, and then maybe that's just the expression where it's like, this is so much fucking fun. Yeah. And I hope that can throw that out into the audience, be it 6 people, be it 200 people, you're gonna get a show, and you're gonna feel that excitement.
Fuck, man, I feel like you should be like a teacher for new bands. Like, yo,
Teacher.
guys, like, this is what you gotta do. Because you're absolutely right, man. Like, this is what you gotta do.
He kind of is like that.
Yeah, it's so inspirational, man.
Yeah.
There's a band called April from Hamilton that I help out with, and they were doing a video a little while ago, and the singer, he's a young guy, didn't have much of an idea about how to do this for
cheat to the camera.
And Joseph was in there and kind of helped him out.
So, yeah, I can see him totally, man. Be a great teacher. Like,
that's choreography and that
Like,
kind of
feel
stuff.
the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move your hand.
Don't move because you have to just feel the music inside you.
Just feel. I continue to because doing original music is so expressive, and you are throwing that out there for everybody else. Once it's written, it's everybody else's. You hear that all the time. But then when you get to do a live show with it, that the rock and roll needs to be tarted up, needs to be performed. I say rock and roll is the prostitute. You want it to look at you, you want it to give you that kind of sense of, oh, there's a bit of danger here, there's a bit of sex appeal, there's a bit of everything. I'm saying it in a non-sexual sense, but it's like, it's what should be showcased. You gotta heighten that. I mean, and maybe because too, like I would get bored. I think if I went to see a show and it's just guys
Just like standing and
that
saying,
look like me and
yeah.
stuff like that, I'm just like, well, I might go saddle up at the bar, and because I can still take it in and not really feel that kind of give and take and pull, which is unfortunate. But I just say ensure it. Keep throwing,
awesome, man.
throw stuff at the audience, see what the audience throws back at you, and just keep that volley going back and forth.
It definitely seems like you're just like natural. Like it doesn't look like you, because you said you did dancing, ballet, and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like subconsciously you studied all of it.
See, I can see all that at Amnesia. Cool, dude.
Oh,
The
yeah.
way he was wriggling around.
The way it was-
Yeah, it was obvious.
Also, like, does he use this same kind of
Yeah,
body
it's
language in
obvious.
every aspect of his life? Like, it's like a pool table.
You
when
scouted me.
I can recognize it immediately.
You scouted me on the whole thing, and then you're like, yeah, there's our guy.
I like the way
We
you
gotta
moves around the pool table.
ask, we gotta ask one of your girlfriends, like, how is he? Like, is he dancing in bed? Like, how is he?
Everybody's got a job to do. Everybody's got to move and groove. It's all right. I'm sorry. Was there a question? I forget. Anyways.
Guys, tell us more about what were your plans for 2020, and what are your plans now after the COVID situation?
What were the plans?
Yeah.
We did have some opportunities to branch out across Ontario and into the States,
Nice.
which are great opportunities, but we understand things have to be put on hold.
Yeah.
So that's no problem. And as far as taking advantage of the isolation, I think we've done really well.
Spending a lot of time at the studio.
That's where we were lucky to have the studio, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
By having that, we managed to be pretty productive during all that. I mean, we didn't do any kind of live stream concert kind of thing or anything like that. But we did a lot of recording, a lot of writing, so.
We've actually compiled all of that into. We had done about 9 songs that we're kind of probably breaking down to about 6 or 7 to do an EP coming out in the fall. We're going to be releasing that ourselves. It was recorded by ourselves, written by ourselves,
Awesome.
sold by ourselves.
Totally independent.
Yeah.
Totally.
Was that always the plan, or kind of COVID pushed it?
We were.
No, that was kind of the plan, even having
Before,
the
like, the
studio
studio,
too. It's
yeah.
like we want to be kind of a self-contained, machine, and
This gave us the time to actually get up and do it.
just more time to concentrate.
Definitely dedicated to it, and the songwriting for it all too. It wasn't, I imagine other songwriters out there or singers or musicians found a lot of challenge. Well, I know I did, and maybe I'm speaking for everybody, but experience drives so much what you can put down on paper, or especially for lyrics or anything like that. And when your experiences are so narrow, when you're being influenced or asked to stay from experience, I imagine it would be easy for a lot of people to fucking write about isolation or something. But I was like, no. Get rid of that shit.
Actually, there has been a lot of like singles coming out.
Yeah,
Just
and it's boring because we already went through it. Oh yeah, I get it.
Already thought.
I love it.
We were already there.
No, I love what he's saying.
We were there and we hated it.
Yeah, so it's like, why do
I
I
want to be reminded
why do
of
I want to
coronavirus anymore.
put that out there for everybody to hear and have forever? So I mean, we pushed unintentionally, but we pushed other directions. We pushed different directions of music. We have, there's certain melancholy, but then there's certain like even writing positive influence stuff. We're writing about the dark and spiritual and in a like a tongue-in-cheek kind of manner. We're writing songs we want to hear with riffs that are being created and produced by Stacy that give it a really accessible feel that people like. We're not abrasive and against your ear. And with melody and with stuff like that, that is holding on to true rock and roll. I'm not trying to. I feel holding on to true rock and roll feelings.
So when can your fans expect this EP or this album to come out?
Stay tuned for the EP.
Do you want to say Halloween?
Yeah, I would say.
We love Halloween, so let's say Halloween.
Halloween.
The Valhounds.
Yeah.
It's called Gone is the Moon.
Gone is the Moon is the name of the album?
Gone is the Moon.
You first heard that in Musicoverload.
Yes, Musicoverload.
Yeah. And you know what? We're going to send you guys a pre-release copy.
Yes.
So you guys get your hands on it first as well.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
We'll write a review about it, yeah.
That'd be
awesome.
fantastic, yeah. I'm excited about it. I'm excited when we kind of picked a single recently as well too that we were going to push maybe digitally at the same times, but...
Any ideas on music videos or...
That would be fun.
Stacy's like,
I can already see.
You can't do everything.
Get in touch. You want to do a music video? Once again, I'm just sales pitching us this entire time.
Man, you should, man.
You need to do it. Exactly. You got everything.
I was like, why haven't I heard this? Like, heard about this band before? Like, this is amazing.
I
You guys need to market more.
we had an early video treatment that we kind of put together. We could always dust off that old thing. Well, we'll revamp something. We have. Oh, there's always ideas, and what spending time together is a big thing where you do it frequently and you do it on a schedule. It helps your mind and your musical body continually jump back into it without dead time in between. Mm-hmm. You don't want to take too much time off anything, just say, well, there's no shows coming up, obviously, so what the hell, we're just going to... No. Yeah. Get back into it. Stay on the schedule. Put yourself in line because it tricks your brain and rewires your brain. And like, honestly, if we miss like a Tuesday when we don't get together, I would sit on Wednesday and I'm like, something's wrong. Yeah. Something's wrong here. You want to stick on that. You got to keep on. And like, I know we canceled playing catch today. Weather wasn't very good, but there's always Sunday night.
I love that.
But yeah, with the single, we'll definitely do a video for it because you kind of have to now.
Yeah.
If you want it to be noticed.
People want to go and Google it, and you want to have something there.
People want to look at it like this. You got to hold their attention for 3 minutes now, as nobody's just right.
For people that haven't listened to you before, can you tell us more about what you write about? Like, what are your normal topics where you go to?
Definitely within songwriting, how I've always approached it. It's not that autobiographical. Yeah. I enjoy character work. I enjoy singer-songwriters who are able to kind of put you in a scene and allow you to kind of figure it out along with the lyrics. True. Or leave it up to you to kind of make your own connections. Yeah. And there's always kind of story songs about, and they're sometimes influenced by people, but it's more or less created out of nothing. Yeah. Like Jim Croce was an old singer-songwriter who I loved, and he would often write great kind of story songs that made you really understand these people or this experience. Mm-hmm. So I take a little bit of that within what we write. It's not autobiographical. It's influence necessarily because I'm writing words about experiences, but it's more fun to put my mindset into the shoes of maybe somebody else, into the mindset of a situation that I'm not part of. And kind of experience it from that perspective or point of view, and have a chance to write about that. I see. Because I think it would be really boring if I just wrote about what I felt.
I love that. Well, was that by design, like, or were you like always you kind of like thought about it? Okay, I'm gonna do it this way, or was it just kind of came to you intuitively?
I think it's just from the artists that I enjoyed and that were influential on me. I started to see how their songs made me necessarily feel or figure out the pieces or put it together myself in a certain way. So and instinctively, what you love, you'll emulate in a certain way because you were influenced by it. Yeah. So therefore, that's kind of the path I've been able to take. And it opens up doors for more situations where you're like, well, isn't that something? And it'll often happen maybe within a conversation between the two of us or just a conversation in general. Somebody will say an interesting combination of words or a certain experience which makes me think of something immediately, and then I'm like, and I write it down in my hand. I'm like, okay, don't forget that one. Something happened there.
Actually in your hand?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
This is the old Palm Pilot. You're
That's
like,
awesome. Palm Pilot.
That's awesome.
So, but there's moments in time, and that's why I have a lot of little scraps of paper around my desk. Little scraps of paper or something where it's like, you'll hear it, something kind of happens, you're influenced by so many different things, but it makes you think of a combination of words that actually gives you a full narrative sometimes.
Yeah.
And you get to jump into that and say, what is that?
Wow.
As if asking someone to share their memories with you, and then you can write about that story.
Oh, cool! Yeah, no, absolutely.
It does seem like you guys are very diversified in terms of like the topics that you bring in.
Yes. Yeah.
What are the source like? Is it just hanging out with people? Like, do you watch or do you like what kind of like? I guess it can go back to like your influence in music.
Yeah.
Like what do you read or what do you listen to?
Yeah.
Your inputs. Like can you talk to us about that?
Sure. I mean, I don't really watch anything. I don't have screens. Like
No?
I guess because we stare at a screen on laptops for so long, the last thing I want to do is go back and stare at another screen to be kind of dumbed down. But definitely through literature, but mostly through experience, interaction. Something that comes to mind. I know it's that old fucking cliche. Make sure if you wake up and there's something on your mind, put that down, because there's a lot of times you're like, well, that was fucking strange.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just give a little something here, and listen. We talk so much to hear our own voice, and maybe I'm doing that today. But no, we talk so much to hear our own voice. But if you're listening to somebody else in a conversation, and you've worked your brain into that routine of like you're open to a creative source, then you'll find yourself picking those little things.
Yeah.
I guess I'm a really good borrower, because I can borrow from certain aspects of it all.
He's got a very good, like, I'm not exactly sure how to put this because I've never heard him really answer the question before, but like a barometer about, where the world's at and, how open-minded he is and how accepting he is of what some people believe, and what others do. I think he's very well grounded in the middle there, and,
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, this is the first time I'm meeting him, and I can already feel
like
that.
some of his critiques on social media and just how open-minded he is with the people that he's dealt with in his life and his family and stuff like that. I really don't know how to put it well.
we balance things well, though. I mean, whatever I do needs what he does. Like that, I can't do it. I can't do it with that. And we even realized to ourselves, no matter what kind of project, or no matter what kind of life is thrown at you, we're like, no, we're just gonna write together, whatever. Like I haven't had. It's been one of the greatest pleasures of my life to be able to write and play music with this guy. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, the bro keeps going.
I love
this.
that.
I love
Well,
this.
a guy I'm a few years older, so I could be sometimes like, can you believe where the world's headed? And he's like, no, calm down. The world's okay. I'm gonna put
This
it
is
in a
normal.
song.
We're gonna take this experience. We're gonna
Like,
put it.
oh yeah, I get it, man. All you need is love. You're right.
Stacey, I see that you write the music and then you mix it and then you produce it as well.
Yeah, that's
What's your opinion on people, like, what's the option of doing it, writing it, mixing it, and then giving it to someone else as a producer?
Yeah.
What's the difference between doing it yourself than to lending this to other hands to edit it?
well, I guess. I've been doing little recordings since I was a teenager. I got a 4-track. I got a guitar and amp.
Nice.
And then I got a 4-track.
Wow.
And so I've
That's
always
real
been
old school.
recording, and I mean, I can't stress enough how, a 4-track is ancient now, but I mean, get on GarageBand or something.
It could be, but it's still cool, man. It's still really fucking
Still
cool.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have a few.
Yeah.
So that was kind of important to hear how you sound.
Yeah.
Like you can play and stuff, but hearing how you sound, it's like, all right. So I mean, even when I was working with other people recording, and I've worked with some great producers.
Nice.
Garth Richardson did some of the best stuff I've ever played on. Jordan Zaborowski, who was Blinker the Star, worked with Courtney Love. He did some really good stuff with me too.
Rob
Sanzo,
Yeah.
Bill Gardarella, who run a Toronto studio. They're really great. But there's something that's great about recording it. You can spend 20 takes getting it, where if you're like working with other people, after about 5 or 10, even though you know you can do better, you're like, I don't want to waste their time. And they're like, that sounds good, man. And I'm like, nah, I can do it better than that. So I'll spend the 20, 25 takes to do something to make it sound better.
Yeah.
But the downside of it is you get really, really fed up of what you're doing, you know, faster, where you're like, you're right, that's good enough, you know, take it, mix it, and it's done. But then you listen to it after and go, I could have done that better.
Yeah. Are the other band members involved in this process as well?
Bringing the guys in to record? We had Jay come down to record some drums and the new stuff.
Jay does all the drums.
Yeah. And
can't find anyone better than Jay.
No, and then Dave.
I want to meet Jay now, man.
Yeah.
We're talking about Jay so much. Jay, where you at?
bring the Manvos in, yeah.
And then Dave Vasey plays bass and sings good backups, and I've known Dave for years. He's a great bass player, so he's super solid. So.
Yeah, he's the backup singer, right? He's he compliments you so well.
Yeah, there's a great kind of live elements to that where we compliment vocally and the look. You've known Dave for a very long time. I met Dave, I think we were giving him a ride somewhere, so we picked him up on somewhere on Bloor, and he got into the back, and this is before you had the idea of him playing bass. And so he got into the back of the car, and I was like, he looks like my brother. I was like, let's bring him in. It's not to say it's conceited and look bass, but I was like, if he plays bass and there's already that cohesive, look good, like this is gonna make an influence on it. And the guy, I fucking love him too. Man, I fucking love him. So I mean, we were very lucky in that sense that we've had it kind of flow in naturally.
That's awesome, man. And this could be a good segue. It's like a cliche question, but I have to ask.
Yeah.
Tell us about your influences. Like
Ooh.
what? I'm sure you guys get asked a lot. Like what do you guys listen to?
Probably where we really kind of meet in the middle is the glam rock kind of Alice Cooper and David Bowie and T-Rex kind of thing is probably where our
commonality.
That's our common. Definitely,
I know we both branch off.
So what are the branches? Tell us what.
Anything with a hook. I love a good hook. No, but the glam rock definitely starts there. I love singer-songwriter stuff because maybe playing with words that much, you see different pattern, you see different melody. Are we thinking like kind of current? Who was I listening to recently? I mean, I even love the Milk Carton Kids. I mean, I know they're just an acoustic duo, but I love them because their songwriting and stuff like that. Who else has been? That's funny. You get put on the spot. Like, what the hell was I even listening to today?
Like I could go as heavy as like maybe Ozzy Osbourne and King Diamond, but as current kind of things like the Horrors, British band, So I like that kind of indie kind of.
Nice.
Not that they're indie, but I mean.
Interpol,
I like.
Yeah, we come across
kind of dark and moody kind of stuff. I like that.
Yeah, but it's always shared, and that's a lot. I'm sorry I don't have exactly the necessarily band solo artists. But it's like it's something that is continual. Because anytime we meet up, we spend the first 10 minutes just catching up on the day prior, whatever. And there's always like, oh, you should listen to this. Oh,
Ghost.
I listen to this.
Oh, this guy he's seen Ghost. Like, how many times did you see Ghost?
I don't know, like 6 or 7.
Yeah. To me, it kind of has to have like something visually appealing to it.
Yeah.
Every band that I just mentioned, there's something visually about it. Yeah. Ozzy had a good image. King Diamond had a good image. Ghost, the Horrors, the Ghosts.
It lifts it up. I admire him so much and like saying, well, I'm gonna do this in the next 10 years. And I know it's not metal, I know it sounds more like ABBA, and I'm gonna make
I love ABBA.
I love ABBA. We've covered ABBA.
He's so good.
You guys covered ABBA?
Yeah.
This could be a good segue for
I grew up with ABBA because of my mom liked ABBA. So
I love ABBA, absolutely.
I have a great story because everyone talks about ABBA and they know that Dancing Queen song because of the theater, the Mamma Mia, right?
Yeah.
But my first ABBA song was Money. If you guys know that song, Money, something funny in the rich man's world.
Yeah.
That was my first ABBA song. But this brings us to our next question.
We did SOS. That's what we did.
Oh, SOS?
We covered SOS. That was our
nice
rock and roll version.
I had Kiss records, my mom's ABBA records, and her Village People records. Which
I don't know good man. Both Kiss and ABBA.
Keep it grooving, man. Keep it grooving.
Let's see what happens.
We gotta ask them the question.
Yeah.
Would you guys?
I mean,
you love this question.
I love this question because didn't want to ask this. So, would you guys judge people based on the music they listen to? The politically correct answer is no.
No, of course I would.
I want the real answer. I want the real answer.
No, of course I would judge them on it.
I love it.
I mean, I'm not trying to come across that, but we all do. We all do.
Absolutely, man.
Let's not beat it around. We all do. So, I'll throw this back at you. If you're like, well, you know, I'm inviting this guy out to dinner. He's a really big fan of Insane Clown Posse. You're like, you just did a little judgment. Everybody that heard it just did a little judgment. Or, you know, it's like, you know what? I'd love to come and show you my new house. I have a whole floor dedicated to Garth Brooks. You're like, okay, there's a little bit. I'm not saying it's a bad, like, I'm not saying that we're all like, fuck this, fuck that. But we all judge because music is the extension of the person. Thank you. And and how it heightens up. So is there a better way to kind of understand, like, maybe there's a like-minded attitude, maybe we can share a more important conversation than, you know, it's a connectivity, and that's why it's there. It is for your own opinion. Yes, you're not going to judge and hate, but you're like, it'll be like, well, that's why they have specific nights. That's why they have specific radio stations. That's why because we do make a choice of what we like. That's cool. Yes, we're not hating the next person about it, but
tells you a little bit about their person.
Years ago, I probably would have said more so, you know, since the advent of like the iPod, I think really changed things up.
Sure.
Like when I was a kid growing up and I had, you know, an allowance or, you know, a part-time job and I had so much money, I was spending that money on an Alice Cooper record or an Ozzy Osbourne record, and I was buying a back patch that had Motley Crue on the back.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe my girlfriend liked Duran Duran. I wasn't spending the money for it. I wouldn't let my friends see my Duran Duran tape or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
But people still made judgments.
But now I can look on like YouTube and I can like look at something.
One thing
and
flows to the next. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
I do, man. I judge people all the time based on the music they listen to. Like, you know, like you said, like not hate, but I judge them because I think it's natural for human beings to just like think that way.
Well, if you said if I said what kind of music you like and you said I like Nickelback, I'm like, he's from Oshawa. Or Sudbury. He's not from Toronto.
We've omitted 2 cities in Ontario right now. That's good.
But I'm not saying there's anything bad with that. You won't find anybody in Toronto to say that they like that. But you go into like those cities and they love that stuff.
There's a little something for everybody.
It's weird.
There's a little something for everybody.
You're right. I absolutely agree with you.
And it's not judgment. It's just a little better understanding. It's just a little better understanding.
What about like even poppy, like NSYNC, like Madonna?
Pop has a formula. Love Madonna. I do.
I like Miley Cyrus.
There's a formula to the pop music. Yes, but probably because it's all written by the same group of people. But the pop formula, I'm attracted to. When it's done really well, you're like, well, they nailed that one. Yeah. You can feel it. You can feel what they were attempting to do and how successful they were with that formula. And people that, if you want to talk about musical acts that have had the longevity with it, of course there's a heightened respect for it because this shit can be hard. So, I mean, if someone that's been able to do it and do it successfully for a long time, if they found their realm within the pop world, great. Definitely that doesn't go across everybody. I'm not trying to blanket the entire feeling about it, but pop music has that earwig mentality that can really get you. And when it does, you're like,
hook. Good hook.
Well done. Yeah. It's just too bad that sometimes it takes 20 people to do it. Or it takes, you know, so many, or it takes not even the person performing it to do it. That's kind of where I have more respect for people. No, fuck, I'm going to get into it now. But I have more respect for people that if they're writing their own pop music and performing their own pop music, that's already beginning. So because it's showing a deeper understanding, they're not just a Muppet with someone's hand up there.
Like if you go into somebody's record collection, their actual vinyl collection, then maybe you could use the judgment there. I'll listen to Miley Cyrus 20 times or whatever. I'll listen to Lana Del Rey 20 times on YouTube or whatever. But I'm not buying their record. But I will pay $40 for the Ghost record.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
so you're not
active.
Collection. What would you let's say you're at a bar with a bunch of dudes. Would you admit that you listen to Miley Cyrus?
Oh yeah, here. It's all dudes. But that's about as poppy as I go.
Yeah,
Her and Lana Del Rey.
Yeah, like if I listen to them in the radio, like I would listen to it if it like sounds good. But you're right. I'm not gonna go actively.
Of course, the
like,
song
buy
is
it.
good.
Yeah.
It would be on the radio.
It's too bad they all sound the same though. One to the next, like, is this the same song? Like, oh no, we've actually been listening for 12 and a half minutes. There's 3 or 4 different artists in between, and it's just kind of that mind numbing. So dynamic. I need some dynamic. Sometimes pop songs do it well. Yeah, I'm in.
I think Stacy might be. He's more braver than I am because I wouldn't never. I have some like poppy stuff in my iPod. I would never admit it because I would be afraid that people are making generalization about my manhood, my penis size.
You have
I don't know
to-
whatever it is.
you have to
whatever
have-
you want to call it, but
You've never been on stage playing an instrument or anything.
I
like
did,
that?
but not obviously not like maybe only a few times, handful of
Like
times.
you can't be self-conscious about what you truly like. If you like something, you can't be self-conscious
No,
about what
yeah.
people are going to think of it.
Yeah.
I like this. I'm sorry, but I mean, this is what I'm going to do.
If you-
I need to do
Fuck,
it.
I love that attitude, man. I love that attitude. I wish I can like feel that way every morning when I wake up. Like, I want to do whatever I fuck want to do.
What was the old joke? You set your alarm. I used to do this. I know it sounds stupid, but I used to set my alarm to a round of applause. So when you wake up in the morning,
Nice.
that's pretty conceited.
You're already woken up.
But it's just like, "Woo!" Like, all right, here's my fucking day. All right, I did it. Step 1, get my ass out of bed.
Woke up.
All right, here we go. I think it was taken from the Frampton Comes Alive. I think I sampled the live cheers out of that.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's
Which is probably sampled from a
which
football
is
game.
probably sampled from that because I don't even think that was a live album.
We should add here a set of applauses at the same time.
Yeah,
We're
Yeah.
That's
saying-
a applause for you. I really want to hear you guys live.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that now?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, yeah, we-
Before we move on to that, let me ask everyone to follow them in Instagram. They are at the Valhounds, just like that.
VALHOUNDS.
That's correct.
The Valhounds, which is that we never got into the name. But that's cool. No problem.
Ah, you want to go
Well,
there?
let's go
Tell
there.
us.
Let's go there. How do you guys?
I'm asking my own questions now.
I'm interviewing myself.
So names are
out of jobs.
What are you guys doing here? Get rid of
No, it's like you guys are fired.
names are hard. Names are hard. Why anybody that's coming up with a band name, it is hard because everything's fucking been used.
That's true.
Now we had lists upon things. I was looking at racehorse names. I was looking at everything.
Everything's been used, and now even words are spelled
differently.
purposely wrong just so that you can
They can
find
be a
that,
name.
right?
Yeah.
There was like Waves has got the 2 V's.
And-
you know.
And we were just
Or corn.
yeah.
Or with a K.
Corn with a K.
That was even before.
Yeah, that was before.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
That was just they can't spell.
We were just a bunch of dudes coming together, so just a bunch of scraggly dogs. But anyways, no, it actually came from looking into dog breed names, and there's a Swedish Valhund, which I was just like Valhund. I'm like, okay, switch that U to an O. Valhounds sounds a little bit more Americanized.
Yeah.
I know there should be like more mystique around it, but it was just out of desperation because we're like, we have to fucking name this group. And you know what? I like it.
It just
Yeah.
kind of like
There is.
sounds nice.
Yeah,
too.
now that you explained to it, but even before that, I was gonna say it does have a little bit of mystique around it.
Yeah, and do you know
That's true.
the funniest thing is because I didn't look into the dog when I was looking at the name, and it's like this little wolf corgi.
Okay.
So it's like it
Right.
looks like a wolf.
Picture of wolf corgi.
Yeah.
Plop that
Insane.
in.
Right now.
Like, plop
The
that in.
sweetest dog. So it's a little wolf corgi, and I was like, well, that's kind of like us. we got a little intimidation, but you know what? We got
So it's
the-
not like a real wolf. It's not like an attack
I
dog.
think
No,
he explained
loyal.
it to me as a Swedish fighting dog.
They're loyal.
Kind of good.
They're loyal. Yeah, I probably was trying to grease the wheel a little
I
bit.
don't
on that
remember
one.
corgi.
Socialist,
description.
seasonal depression.
Yeah. It's a loyal dog. It's
Swedish. You know what I mean?
And I got a little Swede in my background, so it made a little sense. So that I don't know.
At least they didn't give you an Allen key to fix that dog.
I know.
There we go.
No IKEA here.
Yeah. So yeah, it was the
A
Valhounds.
therapy dog.
What? No.
Swedish therapy dog.
Yeah, if your life's fucked up, listen to a couple tracks. We may be your therapy. So
And if you're not, also listen to them.
listen to it. We're all in this together.
So again, coming back to Instagram, they're in the Valhounds. In Spotify, just like that, the Valhounds
just like that,
as well.
Valhounds.
YouTube.
Do you have any other platform that you're using?
YouTube channel, right? Like
There was do we?
YouTube.
You have the
Facebook, I
YouTube
guess,
channel?
right?
Yeah.
the Valhounds.
The
Yeah,
Valhounds.
just the
Find us.
Valhounds.
Just the Valhounds. Find us. Talk
Perfect.
to us. We're real. We're people. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Awesome.
They're
Subscribe
also
and like.
Yeah,
yeah.
we're gonna add here all the links. for
Also,
you just to
keep following
go there.
Musicoverload.ca. Hi, this is Joseph and Stacy Stray from the Valhounds. keep tuning in to musicoverload.ca.
Yeah.
Thank you
That's
so much,
amazing.
brother. That's amazing. Love it.
I'm gonna have that as my ringtone.